So Mireille, Jurgen, could you tell me a little bit about the history of your challenging minds concept, and I guess in particular, how your coming across my Knowledge Cafe a few years ago influenced the whole development of that concept?
Yeah, sure. It was, I think, 4 years ago. I entered Knowledge and Information Center at ING. You already worked there. And I was becoming a knowledge manager, and I thought, well, if I'm going to be a knowledge manager, I better know what this is all about. Mm-hmm. So I started Googling knowledge management. And then, to my utter delight, I found your name and your work, your site, and also the Knowledge Cafe format. And at KIK at the time, they were quite traditional in their ideas about knowledge management. Perhaps you can tell something about that?
Oh, actually, the only thing about knowledge management, how they saw it was, putting stuff in databases.
Okay. Yes.
Knowledge management 1.0, I think, was it?
Yeah, information document management 1.0.
So
right.
There you go.
Yeah. So we discovered the Knowledge Cafe format, and we actually had to wait a while before we could really apply it. In the meantime, I went to a conference in Barcelona, knowledge management, and we met there actually.
That's right, yes.
And I I schemed myself into a knowledge cafe to experience it myself. And it was an utter delight, and I remember still sitting on a bench with you talking about knowledge cafes.
Because do you recall what we did that time? That we couldn't run the cafe in one of the lecture rooms because the tables and chairs were bolted to the floor. So we found an actual cafe across the road.
Yes, a real cafe.
A real cafe, which was good.
It was very nice. And then we tried our first knowledge cafe ourselves. It was outside of ING where we work. It was an event for all kinds of organizations on using social media within organizations, and we just thought, well, let's just try it out. It was kind of an experiment.
We were quite scared because we didn't know if it would work with those people we didn't know. So
right.
It was quite adventurous at that time.
Yes.
But it worked.
Yeah, we were really amazed. There were people from all different companies, like 30 people, I think. And it was amazing. They got into these very engaged conversations, and we actually had trouble pulling them out of the groups and getting them into circles. And it was a real eye-opener to us how smoothly it went and how inspired everyone was. It was really energizing. So after a couple of months, we heard that our Knowledge and Information Center would be closed down. The idea was that everyone can Google nowadays, so we don't need a separate department anymore. We had written a kind of a strategy on knowledge management called Connect, Connect, Connect. It was on connecting people with information, people with people, and communities with communities. That strategy was picked up. They thought we will close down the apartment, but they thought this knowledge management thing rather important, so they got us a new position at the business school of ING. And there we had to think about what to do in a learning environment. And it was a kind of is a kind of traditional learning environment where there are programs being made for managers, senior managers, and talents, and so on. And we thought to apply your knowledge cafes and some other stuff to a broader organization, to open up learning to a broader audience.
So Mireille had a brilliant idea of using the Knowledge Cafe concept together with videos we already had about stuff that affects ING as a whole and the people in it. So she said, well, we're here in a new location and we had 3 big rooms with TVs. She said, well, why don't we invite people and around particular themes? And let's show them a video and then do knowledge cafes with them to have a conversation about that. It was an experiment. It was your idea, and I first thought, well, it's not gonna work, but it worked tremendously. So it was a big
Why did
success.
you think it wouldn't work?
Well, I don't know. It's just because I was brought up in quite a traditional culture of knowledge management, actually, which was KIK, of course. So, and Mireille had the fabulous idea of connecting the learning part with the knowledge management part, which was a very strong thing. But you have to, go through it and do it, and to be convinced. So I'm always first. I'm the guy who's a bit, okay, let's wait and see how what happens. And she comes with the ideas and the concepts. So that's also the way we work together. It's very fun. So, but it was a big success. Actually, we went next year. We were part of a leadership program for retail banking.
Yes.
And that was also quite a big success. And using the knowledge cafe concepts also in there. I remember one manager coming up, which was a big shock. He said, "Well, he just grabbed me and said, you know, this is very strong, a very strong thing to do. You know, having the reflection and the topics together in a setting you do in an informal setting. Right. Very strong, very powerful. Yes. So yeah."
Good.
And then we started to combine these videos and the knowledge cafes with coaching ourselves, which is a peer-to-peer development method by Henry Mintzberg and Villeneuve. And you just went through.
I've just experienced a little bit of that, yes, and I was just really quite impressed, and I could see the influence of the cafe on that. On that process.
So it has become a mix of your knowledge cafes of conceptual input a la video and these coaching ourselves topics. And one of the nice things is you can really shovel it quite easily and make new programs, if you like, or days or parts of days very easily. So it's a very flexible approach.
What I like about it is that, you know, I've always used, say, talks as a trigger for conversation, and I'd always speculated and sort of thought about either using videos or using textual material to trigger the conversation, and I've never got around to doing it, and you've done just that, and you just seem to have done it in a very, very effective way. So I'm really very impressed with that.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Okay, Mireille, Jurgen, thank you.